Hello, welcome back to Mirror Interpretation Todorova. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ioana and I am an interpreter. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Before I start, I'd like to remind you and introduce you the new course, Spanish-English Bilingual Medical Terminology. Me and Jose finished so-called cardiovascular system. This is about 4 hours of approximately 4 hours videos that you will be able to find on the description box below. Think. The platform is called Teamfic, but otherwise it doesn't matter. There is a bilingual medical terminology video, Spanish, English. You will be able purchase it for $47. Right now there is a month of discount. I believe it's 10%, so it's about 43, I'm not sure, something like that, where you can purchase this class. You're gonna see bilingual videos, English, Spanish, and then below of each video you will be able to download the terminology. There would be a practice test below each of those videos. There are different numbers for medical terminology, and in the end of the class you will be able to pass a test, and one part is in English and one part is Spanish English, and receive a certification of completion for only $47. So, hola mis amigos, gracias que usted está aquí. I'm trying to think. Yo tengo una lección de español con Mr. José. Per esto non hablo muy bien español, pero quiero presentarvi il nuovo training inglés-español de sistema cardiovascular. Soy 3 horas y media de training con slide en dos idiomas, inglés y español, donde puedes mirar escrito y todo en dos idiomas. El José es nuestro instructor de español y yo soy la persona que habla en inglés. También al final de cada video puedes buscar en bajo terminología médica en dos idiomas, inglés y español. Al final de este training puedes obtener un certificado de compilación respondiendo a 30 demandas en inglés y 40 demandas en español e inglés con terminología médica. En este training puedes buscar todos los más comunes terminología, lo más comunes terminología médica en idioma español y en inglés, en sistema cardiovascular, le proceduras, les exámenes, todo esto en 3 horas y media de lecciones. Más lento, más simple, más cómodo per le personas que se están preparando de hacer o de practicar su terminología médica en idioma inglés y en español. Gracias. Okay, guys, so I know you can laugh. My Spanish is so bad. Okay, I know that. I'm so sorry. But you guys, whoever speaks Spanish, understand a word or two of what I said. I hope so. And I hope that I will be better in Spanish shortly. Within a year, I guess, if Jose is serious enough to be there with me every week. Said that, we're gonna talk about payment today. If you're my members, I want to say thank you, profound thank you for my members. Thank you, Jim. I cannot pronounce your name, okay? Forgive me. You just subscribed last week. I saw you. I want to say thank you. Forgive me, I don't want to pronounce bad your name. David, Oksana, thank you guys for being my members. Thank you for supporting me. It's been quite rocky weeks for me lately. Uh, Today, also, I like to say if you do want to subscribe to this channel, you will probably know in detail what company I'm talking about or companies, what is happening, what do I experience, and so and so and so on. So I'm gonna talk about what to do if a company doesn't pay you. I've been boiling the last few weeks. I've been really burning from this experience. I don't know how it happened, but I had at the same time several companies that refused to pay me or simply didn't pay me and ignore me and threatened me that they're not gonna pay me or openly state that they're not gonna pay me. One of those companies wrote an invoice on my behalf, decided to pay me just for 2 days in their opinion, although they give me 5 weeks to complete a project. In the end of the day, when the project was delivered, they decide to simply calculate how much time they think I should have included to do this job. And in the end of the day, they decided that I put 2 days of work, uh, particularly 25 hours, point 6. I don't know how they calculate that. Uh, you, and this is very confusing for me. Why give me 5 weeks if you think that I will do it in 3 days? So not only, but the services for the Veterans Office, VA, and I did sweat because it was not a simple translation. It was highly technical. I was contracted for very low rate, not only, but the apology. I'm just trying to fix my screen. Not only I was contacted for this miserable rate, but they not even want to pay me for that rate. They don't want to pay me for the review of this document, for the formatting, and so on. So it's very hurtful, and it's one of those moments where I doubt if I want to do this. This is so hard to do this like that, and I just don't understand why. If you think that I'm asking you for crazy money, you should have told me, hey, check these 50 pages. Do you want to do it for $200? And I will tell you yes or no. But contracting me for one rate and then giving me extremely technical that is 3 times more work and cost more, and then refusing to even pay me for that, I am so upset. I was so hurt. I was so lost. I was so angry. And then I had another client providing services for emergency room. All of the calls, it was call center. All of them were, it was OPI, which means over the phone interpreting. All of them emergency. And very inspiring on the interview, very polite, very well mannered. The recruiter really make me feel excited to work for them. Well, in my members video folder, if you become my member, you could see I create a video name how inspiring this company is, and I was excited to work for them, and I was so happy to do it, and then I start doing it, and I will give them 90% of my time. And then after 2 months and a half, my bank account freeze. And I'm not a person that is like maniacal with money unless I have to buy something or I'm paying for something and I wanted to pay for something and there was no money there. And this is when I realized that I haven't been paid at all the last 3 months. Just small payments from these side companies that I was doing other languages or other stuff for. And I'm like, this literally like fuzzed me off. I was like, what is going on? So this second company, this is a real story, guys. Of course, because we had such an appetite contract and all of that, I was feeling a little bit doubting myself. I said, oh, maybe some kind of misunderstanding. Usually they pay you, you work 30 days and then they pay you. This company, nothing. I was thinking, wow, what is happening? What is going on? I was not sure. So I sent an email, the email of the doubt, I call it like that, saying that I noticed that I haven't been paid. And to my amusement, there was no response, no reply, nothing. I sent the email to the support, to the financial, to the billing, to the main, to the interpreter, to the manager of the interpreters. There was no response. After 3 days, they have this platform, and some of these translation companies or interpreting companies use a platform called Slack. So there was a company, there was this platform that they use. For my amusement, they have about 800 to 900 interpreters working for them. I I tried to put a message, but I was not able to. So I was able only to comment or to send a message to the managers, and I didn't understand why is that. But now I know why was that. So I was like, I wanted to ask other interpreters that work for this company, did they experience this delay? Did some, because the company was not responding to me. The only person that responded to me was the recruiter after a few days. I'm not gonna mention name here because this video will be public and I don't mention the name of the company. If you subscribe, you can see where I share my experience about this in a lot of detail. So I was like, what is going on here? Why nobody answered me? I will understand if they're delayed for some reason or something is happening there. No payment, no answer. So when I noticed that, the company was 3 payments late. Yes, 3 payments late and no responding to. I've been boiling with this experience, to be honest with you. And I'm being boiling with upsetness and anger with myself. And the reason why is because I know, guys, if you're my member, there is these videos that I do, that I talk about how to check the company. I do train you to check the company and to check the company background and to check the reviews. Yeah, I do train you to do this. And in this case, I myself didn't do it because I was offered a very good payment. And when somebody comes and offers you the amount that you ask for, which is reasonable, of course, I will tell you it was between, the contract was between 75 and 85 cents per minute. So 70 is a very good paid for Russian, 70 cents, 85 for Bulgarian, and I think it was about 75 for Italian and 80 cents for Macedonian. I'm just saying it open. You can throw stones on me, but that's a very, very good payment, having in mind that I do have companies that I provide the services for 60 cents, and I'm okay with that. For me, this is not about money anymore. It's more about do what I like to do, and I think this is beautiful, no? And so very good paid from home. Home, this is a home paid, OPI. I want to show you this cup. It says, the influence of a good teacher can never be erased. Every time I see this cup, I think about a teacher of mine in high school. She was my geography teacher. I think she really inspires me to become who I am today. And I wish I didn't have money, but this is the only teacher I wish I had money to buy her flowers. And I remember when I was graduating, I really was very sad because I didn't have money to buy her flowers. So this company ignored me and didn't reply to me, and then gaslight me, telling me that everybody has been paying what I'm talking about. I'm being crazy, made me, and didn't send me the call report. And here is the trick, the problem. What's the problem? Is that right now, nowadays, I don't know if you guys notice, but a lot of companies, a lot of language companies do use platforms, and they use computer platforms to make the calls because it's cheaper than phone lines. And this company included, they have this platform that you accept calls on the computer, and once you do so, once you close the call, it's gone. You don't have access to it. They don't allow you to have access to it on one, and on second, they don't show you your call report, which is a little bit odd. I didn't know that they're gonna do this in the beginning. I didn't know they're gonna hide it or something. So I was not tracking the calls myself. And now I was in this situation with working 7 hours, 6, 7 hours a day for this company, and not being able to prove it. Because the moment that I close the call, I don't have access to the platform anymore, to the call reports that computers generate, because yes, they do track those because they get paid for it. And of course, they know how much you did. But in this case, nothing. I close the call and it vanished. There is nothing. And now, 3 months later, I'm like, oh my goodness, I trusted this company. And I trusted them, and right now I can't even prove that I work for them. And it's so complicated compared to the other company that I did the work, and I was thinking that they're gonna be reasonable and pay me. This one here, because I can prove that I did the job. This, how I can prove this in court, I was thinking. How complicated is that? Because first of all, I can state it in court, my word against theirs, but how I can prove that I actually did the amount of calls? So I request this call report from this company, and after me being very angry and threatened to sue them, first time was in April. It was middle April when I noticed they haven't paid me since January or February. The contract I signed was in January. So I noticed this, and I'm thinking, well, I request the call report. And I didn't receive much. I didn't receive nothing. The director of the organization, the CEO, contacted me and say, oh, I thought you had some question about your payment, acting like paying me some extreme favor that this person is doing me, which is so disrespectful, so bad. And I was like, is that serious? Like, are we serious here? So this person listened me crying and asking why. He even apologized that nobody responded to me and promised to update me within few days and send me those reports. There was no response, but there was a small amount of payment that I received, which calmed me down and make me believe that this is gonna be it's gonna clear. This is gonna clear, it's we're gonna solve that. It's okay. I'm not such a crazy person for money, right? But I was broke. I had, I mean, like paying, I had to pay my rent. Like I was broke after 3 months working hard as a donkey. And I am still recovering from that. So so I'm like, okay, what what shall I do? Give it some time. So he gave me some small payment, and then after next week I contacted him. It was middle of April, and I asked why the call report was not sent. And this person responded to me that he was so busy paying me that he couldn't make this report. And I was very amused. Why would you make a report when the computer should track the calls, and a base of this report you should pay me? You should not make it. So this person sent me an Excel document where he manually wrote uh, 15 days calls in one row. I mean, it's so, I can show it. I think I should find it out and put it here so you could see it. But there was this call report, handwriting, not a computer call report, just somebody write down some numbers there. So this call report really, really upset me. Like, you can act like I'm dumb, you late with payment, and you send me this thing here. I'm very, very, very angry and very upset. I hate when people act like I'm dumb. If you want volunteers, you should put it online and you will find the people that will work for free. I guarantee you. So said that, I was like, whatever. Anyways, long story short, this company continue BS with me and not paying me. Let's imagine, and here I'm just gonna give you the steps because I actually got my money from this company. It was not an easy thing. They did pay me, and this is why I don't wanna put their name out there. But if you're my subscriber, it's not a secret. If you go and Google this company, you'd see the Google comments. You will find out that this is something that they do not only with you, but with many other interpreters. I noticed they do this I just find out once this problem start to grow bigger, I find out that this company was having several lawsuits going on, and many, many comments about this company not paying or owing money and being late 5 6 months or ignoring them. It was just the way these people do business there. So let's say that you end up with not only this company but any company that you work for. You cannot prove that you work, but you did a certain type of service, and there is no money, they don't pay you. Number one thing that you should do before you go to court, there are several steps, but let me tell you what I did. I sent a friendly reminder to the company to fulfill the contractual agreement for payment. Unfortunately, when I was preparing this email, I went and I read the contract several times to see if there is a payment schedule. Usually it's 30 days. It's the rule is 30 days, right? if it's a different than this rule, and most of the contracts do have it inside, if they pay you 30 days or every 2 weeks or so and so on. Or for every 45 days, the first payment, whatever is the rule, if it's different than 30 days, it should be included in the contract. Guess what? While I was typing this email to send them a reminder to fulfill the contract before I go to court, I did read the contract and they said that they would pay you, but they never said when. So if you guys sign a contract, you should read very carefully the payment, when it's going to be your first payment. You got to have this very clearly, because if there is no date, it's kind of hard in court, because they, oh yeah, we had intention to pay you. It doesn't say it, but we usually pay. So I noticed that there is no date for the first payment and there is no rule for it in the contract. It was just omitted. And because it says pay you, and because it gives you this very, very good payment, when I was signing the contract, I was just excited to work for them, right? Beautiful. And then suddenly now I'm having this problem, and the rule is 30 days. So I start in February. I should have paid the first week of March, nothing, or the 15th of March, nothing, or the 30th of March, nothing. First week of April, nothing. Even if they pay bi-weekly, I haven't been paid. And it was middle of April when I noticed that there is no payment. So I asked them for their payment schedule. I said, when I'm going to be paid? And they said to me, oh, yes, you're going to be paid bi-weekly. Let's say the first 2 weeks end in 15th of the month. You have to be paid the next month on the 15th, and then on the 30th. And then, so they said to me, the first 15 every 2 weeks, they pay in chunks after 30 days of the 15th, which in this would have mean that I would have get the first payment in March, the second in April, end of April, the third, so 2 payments in March and 1 payment in April. There I should have been received 3 payments, and I have received 0 payments. And so very complicated scam. Couldn't tell me when is gonna be the first payment. We're a little bit behind. Complications. And you understand that your bills are waiting for you, being working as a donkey for this company, and you have $0 in your pocket. So this is kind of hard, kind of challenging, kind of upsetting, kind of heartbreaking. So I request them to fulfill the contract by it's called common law rule. Rule is 30 days. It's unwritten rule, but if there is no notice, nothing, is normally 30 days. I request them to pay me. They did not pay me. They give me this, I think it was about $600 for the first 2 weeks of February. And when I asked them to clarify, they start ignoring me and ignoring me and ignoring me again. Obviously, I stopped providing interpretation services for them. I was completely fed up. I did not disconnect the contract right away because I was not sure how. I didn't want to believe this. I didn't want to believe this possible. You provide service for the emergency room and they don't pay you. Who can even imagine that this is possible, right? And most of the people would hide it unless they're very frustrated and upset that they didn't get paid for what they do, right? So I disconnect the contract, I believe it was 17th of April. Because I see that these people are not serious, they're joking to me. So it was already April and they pay me for the first 2 weeks of February only, and then they ghosted me again. So 17th of April, I disconnect the contract. I send them official letter informing them the contract date, my name. I immediately disconnect. And I said the reason why is because they haven't been paying me, written down professionally. Today, on this date, I disconnect the contract stipulated on January 4th. The reason why is because you not fulfill the contractual agreement for payment. and I would really peacefully like to disconnect that and believe that you're gonna pay me for the work that I did. And then I send them a request to provide me the subpoena of the calls. Subpoena is a court order, and you can request subpoena to testify or subpoena to provide electronic documents. In this case, I was starting to search at how I can oblige them legally to provide me the call report, because I was suspecting that the report that they sent me was fabricated and was false, obviously. And I clarified this with them very clearly. I sent them a screenshot of another call report, and I clarify what makes this call report fake and not really represent the number of the calls that I did. Said that, I give them time to pay me, disconnect. And then 2 weeks later, there was no payment. I request the payment, there was no payment. So this is the first reminder legally. Disconnect the contract, reason why I'm requesting to be paid politely. The second reminder I sent in the beginning of the May, when I checked and there was no pay. It was end of April. It was about end of April or 1st of May. I sent a reminder requesting officially, putting my name, the company name, the period that I am requesting them to pay me, and stating that the handwriting report they provide me is false, and I would, if they don't pay me the according amount, I would make a subpoena, a court request for them to provide the actual electronic document, and I'm gonna sue them. And I also informed them that I'm gonna sue them not only for the money that they owe me, but also for late fee and compensation. And I said, if you don't pay me and don't respond to me, this means that you legally agree that you're gonna pay me a compensation of $2,000 for all these late payments and mental stress that you cause me. And I sent this letter legally intending to do this. I look the company location, where is the court, to which county, based on the address, I should file this civil matter, and how can I request a subpoena on electronic documents at the same time, to prove that this company is hiding my work and is also not paying me. I was very, very surprised. I just sent it, period. I was very surprised when this company submit me payments, 2 payments for March, and then also shortly after they pay me for the first 2 weeks of April. Different money than in their call report, as they call it, because their so-called call report was including 1/3 of the calls. Yes, they still didn't pay me fully. I could tell you they pay me about 80% of what I did, or 85%. But at this point, it was not worthy for me to sue them anymore. But I did get most of my money, and this was a good solution for me. It was a good way to get out of this company, of this case, of this organization. But if you notice a company doesn't pay you and doesn't respond you, the first number one thing is to send them official request of payment and give them a period of time to pay you. Put the date, your name, your time, the period that you're expecting to be paid. You can use this as a proof in court. Also, emails are nowadays admitted in court as a proof of your what you're saying, and so on. So this is exactly what I did. And reading the reviews of this company, I find out that they haven't been paid, not only to me, but to many other interpreters. Everybody pretend that I was crazy, obviously. The recruiter also pretended that I was crazy when she was assisting me and the only person responding during this situation. I actually did try to send her flowers, and I did send them to the office of this company, and nobody accept them. And I was like, why? I didn't understand why. And then in the end, I recognized and I realized that the recruiter was part of this game. She is paid to continuously recruit new interpreters that are not being paid. And obviously, she's aware of that. And in the end of the day, she admitted that she's having a serious problem with sleeping at night because of what she's doing. But she chose to do it, and this just, your actions speak louder than your words, basically. So if you stand for something like that, if you agree to do something like that, if you take part of something like that, you can't be a good person. You can't be proud of yourself. So this is my story on what to do if you don't get paid. This is one of the stories I like to share with you. Thank you guys for being here. And before I close this video, I want to remind you, if you want to do Spanish bilingual medical interpreter training class, there is a training I would leave below this video for $47. Right now there is 10% off. So you can purchase it on my platform and get almost 4 hours of videos and trainings and a certification of completion and bilingual medical terminology. Hola meus amigos, grazie. Quiero informarvi que yo tengo un training de $47 en 2 idiomas, inglés y español, terminología médica para intérpretes. Tú puedes recibir 4 horas, más o media, 3 horas y media, más o menos 3 horas y media de training en 2 idiomas, inglés y español, donde puedes mirar la terminología en slides. José, el nuestro trainer de español, yo soy la persona que habla inglés. Cada video tienes una lista con vocabulario que puedes cargar gratuitamente. Al final puedes tener un examen en inglés y en español y obtener una certificación de esto training médico. Thank you guys for being here. Have a wonderful day. Do like, share, and subscribe. Bye-bye.